Good afternoon to all of you. Uh, Today we'll start from the same place from where we left in the last class. It is the shear capacity. Now we are slowly entering into the design of that different steel fasteners or the steel joints, steel structure, or I would say it is a connections in the steel structures. So before going to that actual particular problem, today we'll be solving one particular problem over there. So before going to that, let us have a basic look on the whatever we have done in the last class. In the last class, we have basically identified that what are the different failure criterias, and we have picked up only the shear capacity or the capacity of the bolt. Now we are going for, and the bolt means it is a black bolt. Okay, we are not going into the detailing of that HSFG or the high strength friction grip bolt. Okay, so in terms of the shear capacity of the bolt, in our IS code, it is already been specified in the IS code. It is already been specified in IS 800 2007 version, that this particular formula. Okay, so in this formula, what are the different parameters that already we have covered it up in the previous class. So the VNSP, which is essentially the nominal shear capacity, and that VNSP or the nominal shear capacity, when it is divided by the factor of safety gamma MB, which is about 1.25, then we are getting the design shear capacity or design shear strength of the bolt. And this design shear strength of the bolt or the capacity of the bolt should be at par or at least to be equal with the demand that is coming onto the structural connections. Okay, so to find it out here, we have to have what is the grade of the steel or what is the grade of the bolt, and depending on the grade of the bolt, you will be getting the ultimate tensile strength of the bolt. So that ultimate tensile strength of the bolt is required over here, and along with that, you also need to identify that how many failure planes are going to happen. Here the failure planes means how many shear planes are going to happen over there, and based on that you are calculating that what is your nominal sank area or the nominal threaded area, and depending on the number of planes you will be getting the total shear capacity, design shear capacity. Now this design shear capacity is essentially being varied or reduced by three different factors. One is for the long joint. If you are having the long joint, if you are having the large grip length of the bolt itself, long joint means if we are having, again the same philosophy is being provided over here. If we are having the very long joint over here, too many bolts are being placed over here for a simple connections, then the length from one end to other end of the bolts from starting to ending, it is to be considered as the total length of the joint. If the total length of the joint Lj is exceeding 15 times of d in the direction of the load where it is being applied, then it is to be termed as the long joint. And accordingly, if it is been long joint, then proportional reduction factor to be employed over here to get the design shear strength. Then the next factor that is governing over here, the larger grip length of the bolt. If the large grip length L is exceeding 5 times of the diameter of the bolt, then it is to be considered larger grip length, and accordingly your reduction factor to be employed. Similarly for the packing plate, in the last class I have shown some packing plate, but some of you have raised some question over there. The packing plate should be middle. Yes, It could be middle, it could be the other way around, whatever I have presented over there in the last class. So let us look into the same thing, and the person who has been identified that it could be something like that. Then let's say if this plate is having, let's say, 12 mm 12 mm thickness, and if the connected plate is, let's say, this is 2 mm thickness or 5 mm thickness, then these particular, to fill this gap, we need to have a plate. Okay, we need to have a plate over here, additional plate. That is called the packing plate, or it could be also considered in the other way around, whatever has been provided. So now, most likely in all the connection design, the packing plate used to be considered at the double cover butt joint, the way the some of the students have been raised or pointed it out. Okay, so if we are having the packing plate, presentation is not visible, few of us. Are you able to, is it for everybody? I don't think so.
No, sir, I can see
Just
this
connected
slide.
with the other people. Kirat is
So it's visible to
something.
me, but maybe it doesn't show.
It's not visible to me.
It may be, can you just switch off your system and then log in again? Can you just turn on and then log in again?
They've done that also.
Still it is not coming.
Now it's fine. Now we are able. Did you do
Okay.
it?
Okay, thank you. Prinshi, now is it okay? Yes, Kirat, the voice is echoing because two particular set of microphones are active at the same time. Pragya, is it now visible? For Kirat, it is okay now. Okay, Pragya is okay. Then who else? Princey, is it okay for you? Okay, fantastic. Thank you. So we have been over here for the shear capacity of the board. Just to tell you another one brief thing, that because this particular, the main goal, whatever I'm going to tell, and whatever is been presented over here in this particular slide, it is already, we have been discussed quite a lot, because it is to essentially to identify the number of shear planes and whether the shear planes to be considered as the threaded portion or at the sank portion. Depending on that, your area would be. Again, audio is not coming. Oh my God. Too many issues are there today. Is it okay now, Shreyans? Shreyans?
Yes, sir.
Is it okay now?
Yes, sir. It is fine now.
Just type it in the chat box. Otherwise, it is echoing if I'm opening two microphones. Okay. So let me just go ahead with that. So this particular thing you already have gone through. Now, this particular slide also have been presented in the previous class, that what are the reduction factor to be considered based on the long joint, the longer grip, or the packing plate effect, or rather I would say that what is the effect of this different longer joint and the longer grip and the packing plate. Okay, so it is nothing but all the formulas are being provided with you in the IS code. You just have to look into that, and you need to only employ those formulas. Okay, nothing to memorize over here. Right? You need not memorize anything, because in the exam, whatever the exam would be, if it is the data is not provided to you, then obviously they would be allowed to carry your own code, obviously in the printed form, not in the handwritten form. Okay, so these are the three different factors that we'll be applying, and we'll be much more we'll be seeing much more things whenever we start our problem solution classes. Okay, so the next feature that regarding the bolt design or the connection of the connection design of the bolt is the bearing strength of the bolt also needs to be taken into account. Why? Because that we have to make sure that all the failure modes, whether it is there on the bolt or whether it is there on the plate, has to get arrested. Okay, so all the failure event perhaps needs to be addressed in such a way, or a unified way, or unification to be provided in the way that the capacity is not affecting, or capacity, the demand is not exceeding the capacity of that particular joint. Okay, so we'll solve a particular problem to identify how to proceed with that. Okay, now here also the bearing limit state is there. In the bearing limit state, we have to find it out all the different kinds of things. So there are also different factors are required. For example, the type of the bolt hole, the DH. Sometimes in the text, some of the textbook, it is also said the DO. Okay, bolt hole. The end distance, and sometimes also you may require the edge distance also, even though it doesn't matter because both the things would be same. Okay, to remove the catastrophic failure over there, you have to provide a sufficient end distance and also the edge distance. And as per the IS 800, both the end distance and edge distance are giving the same value or the similar values. Okay, and what are the other factors? That is the minimum tensile strength of the connected parts. Okay, let me just go ahead with that, and once the problem comes, then we'll sort that out. So how to solve, or how to get into that, how much would be the nominal bearing strength or the bearing capacity of the bolt? Again, there is some analytical formula has been provided over here. What is the in the formula? What are the factors that has been there? This is a 2.5 factor. One factor is there. I also don't have any clue where from this factor 2.5 is coming up. Then this one is completely numerical in sense. It may vary 2.6 also depending on the available literature or available data. Okay, so what we do is we have a set of, let's say, 100 or 10,000, 1,000 or 10,000 sample of data. From there, we do a card fitting kind of thing, and we get the how much would be the approximate value, and that approximate value is being chosen over here as 2.5. Okay. Then there is another one factor that is called KB. Okay, so KB is a factor which is again dependent on many factors. Okay, so what it is dependent on? It dependent on the end distance. It dependent on the diameter of the hole, D0 or DH. It depends on the pitch. Pitch means along the loading direction. Along the loading direction, how much away these two bolts are being placed, or the other way around, that what is the dimension or different length of consecutive two bolt column. Okay, then there is other factors are there that is called FUB. FUB stands for your ultimate tensile strength of the bolt, and you require also FU or the connected plate, which is nothing but ultimate tensile strength of the plate itself. Okay, so after getting all these things, the KB to be considered as the minimum of all the E by 3D0, P by 3D0 minus 0.25, then FU by FUB by FY, and then 1. So after doing all such kind of calculations, you will be getting the what is the nominal bearing capacity or bearing strength of the bolt. This nominal bearing strength of the bolt is then being divided by the factor of safety to get the design capacity or design strength of the bolt. Okay, so this nominal bearing capacity or nominal bearing strength of the bolt is multiplied by a factor 0.7. It should be multiplied by a factor 0.7 for oversized or short slotted bolt holes. Okay, and it should be multiplied by a 0.5 for long slotted bolt holes. So what is meant by the slotted? That will come little late. Okay, what is meant by the slotted? But these two are the factors that is to be multiplied with the nominal bearing strength, which is being calculated over here, and then we'll be getting the things over here. However, there is a thumb rule which can avoid all such kind of calculations. What is the thumb rule? Let's say if I provide the minimum edge distance or end distance is equal to whatever has been provided by the code, it is 1.5 times of the DH, that means hole diameter, and minimum pitch is equal to 2.5 times of the diameter of the bolt, dB. Then straightforward you can consider this KB to be equated to 0.5. Okay, so this is a thumb rule. So KB can be easily considered as 0.5 to avoid all this kind of calculations. What is the T? T is the summation of the thickness in the connected plate, which is basically experiencing some of the bearing stress or all the bearing stress in the same direction, not the other directions. It may differ from lap joint to butt joint, even in the butt joint double cover or single cover, like that way. Okay. Now, next thing that is coming to the concerned design protocol, that is called the tensile capacity of the plate. As of now, whatever the things we have done, it is only for the bolt. Now we also have to calculate what is the tensile capacity of the plate, or at which point what is the rupture strength or the rupture capacity. Okay. So for example, over there are one thing is there that is called the critical section. What is meant by the critical section? Let's say, for example, right at the moment, if I ask you that, okay, let's see, for example, if I have this plate and this plate in this plate, I am providing this kind of placement of the bolt. So which one to be the critical? If I ask, or if someone asks you, I would probably say that at this place and at this location, these two locations would be the more critical. Why? Because here the forces are being acting over here, and as per the St. Venant's principle in our whichever has been taught in the solid mechanics course, what we see near the applied load, generally the loads distribution are used to be very, very non-uniform in nature. Once it away from the application of the load point, then it becomes uniform in nature. So this particular region may become may experience the non-uniformity of the forces or non-uniformity of the stresses. So I would presume that these two zones perhaps would be my most critical sections or most critical plane. However, there might be certain other situations. Let's say I am placing my bolt in the way that this is the way I am placing. This is the way I am placing. Okay, again in the same way. Force. Right? So now, obviously again, what I need to do I need to find it out. I need to find it out assuming that critical section. Now this particular thing is in a diamond pattern. So it is not like this pattern of the bolt arrangement. So what I can do, I can calculate what is the capacity at this particular section 1, what is the capacity at this particular section 2, then like that way it goes. And now if my bolt arrangement is something like this way, or maybe something this way, this particular way, you see there is no hard and fast rule that is being maintained over here. The point being over here is sometimes the bolts are bring to arrange in the way that it is in a zigzag pattern or the staggered pattern. So this is called a staggered joint or the staggered your bolting. Okay, or the zigzag bolting. In this zigzag bolting, what generally the designer used to consider, they consider this is one a failure plane or the critical plane, this one another one failure plane or critical plane, and perhaps they join over here in this particular two, and then they say that this one is another one critical plane, might be another one critical plane. Okay, so depending on the critical plane, your net area would be dependent. Okay, if your critical plane is defined in the way that you are being considering like here, you will have a different, you will have a chain bolting or the regular bolting. For that you will have a net sectional area of the tensile strength of the bolt. If you have a staggered bolting, you will have a different net tensile area. Why I am saying net tensile area? Because you see the point is over here. If I have this particular steel plate is having B and the dimension is B and D, what is the effective area or the net area? B times D. If I provide a hole over here, then obviously I have to deduct it. So if it is a chain bolting or the regular bolting, the net area or effective area formula is being provided in a simplified manner. However, if there is any staggered bolting or the zigzag bolting, you have to have different kinds of your formula to provide the net area. The derivation of this area, net area, is pretty simple and it can be done very easy way. Now there are two things. One is called this is DH. What it stands for DH? DH stands for the diameter of the hole. What is N? N stands for number of bolt that is being provided or number of bolt hole. I would say number of bolt hole. And what is this PSI? PSI in the staggered thing is this is the pitch. And if it is a staggered bolting, then there is a gauge. There is a gauge. There will be a gauge. Okay. So depending on, you start from here and you go across the other portions to find it out the net tensile area, which is to be utilized to find it out the net tensile capacity of the rupture strength of the plate. Now, once this net area is being calculated, this is the only parameter that is dependent on, then it is being multiplied with the 0.9. Why it is 0.9 is multiplied? Because you have to have 10% reserve strength over here. You have to have 10% reserve strength. Okay. Once you have the 10% reserve strength, that is why 0.9 times the area, 0.9 times of your net area multiplied by FU. FU stands for the ultimate tensile strength of the plate, and this is the factor of safety which is governed by the ultimate tensile stress of the plate. Okay, so the similar way, this is the another way, one way that it can be represented. This is another one way it can be represented, the tensile capacity of the bolt. Okay, schematic. Schematic for the staggered hole. Same thing over same thing over here. Right. So in each of the, you see over here, it is being written over here on line A, because I am considering one particular failure plane over here. Then another one failure plane I am assuming, over here. This is my another one. This is my assumption. Then the third assumption is this can be my failure plane. This can be my failure plane. So depending on that, you will have different net area of the plate. And once the different net area would be there, you will be getting the different tensile capacity of the plate. And how then if it is different tensile capacity, does it justified over there? No, it is not justified over there. But what to do for that? We have to have, or we have to include all the gauge and all the pitches over here. Those are for the only that area. We are physically identifying which particular plane to be considered as the failure plane. I need not be bothered about that. Then if I consider only the failure plane itself, I need not bother about the tensile capacity. I am planning to strengthen that particular portion. Okay. So the tensile capacity, that was the rupture capacity, tensile strength of the bolt. Then the tensile capacity, design tensile strength would be coming over here in this particular manner. So again, you have to just go through this particular section 10.3.5 to find it out. What are the different formulas are being provided to make the design tensile strength of the plate and design tensile strength of the bolt. Okay, previously it was design tensile strength of the plate, design tensile strength or the nominal tensile strength of the plate. Now the similar way it is coming for the design tensile strength of the bolt itself. So design tensile strength of the bolt, again this 0.9 is being utilized. If it is being 0.9, then what are the multiplication factor then? FUB. FUB means the ultimate tensile strength of the bolt. A and B, the net area of the bolt at the threaded portion. Why? Because threaded portions are more susceptible to the failure rather than the sank area. Okay, so this should be less than, there are some other values are being given. You have to please note that whenever you will be solving some problems, there are many different factors or partial safety factors are being provided rather than only one or two factors which is being provided at the concrete design. Here in the steel design, you will have factor of safety for the yielding, factor of safety for the rupture, factor of safety for the ultimate stress, similarly for the bolt and also for the plate. So you have to be very cautious about while utilizing this factor of safety also. Okay, so once this TNB or the nominal tensile capacity of the bolt is been given, then the similar way the design tensile strength will be finding it out, only divided by the corresponding factor of safety. I think that would be that will end your job. Then this is the same thing that we do. First we had find it out the CR capacity or the CR strength. Then we had defined what is the tensile capacity and tensile strength. CR capacity and CR strength for the bolt and the plate. Here also the same thing, bolt and plate. Now there might be certain situations where both the things are occurring at the same point of time. So for that, what we can do, it is very easy. We have to do the interaction diagram. And as far as the interaction diagram is concerned, we have to find it out. The same thing we did in the column design in the RCC. So once the interaction diagram is done and all your design has to fall within this particular domain, otherwise it is to be considered as the unsafe design. Okay. So what are the different way that when we consider the shear and tension both or the interaction? For example, these are the typical few cases that I presented over here. These are the few typical cases where beam column joints are there with the two angles, where the shear is also been acting, the tension is being acting, as well as the tension in terms of the moment it is being acting. Similarly over here also. So all these typical shear and tension connections are being happening only when we are bothering about the different connection with the plate, beam to column connection. Either it is a single plated connection, or it is a gusseted plated connection, or it is a angle connections. Okay. With this, let us have a look into that a particular example problems over here. Find the efficiency of the lap joint. The problem statement I have not yet given over here. Problem statement I am giving. You may please note down or write down the problem. These are the two bolts that is being placed over here. These are the two bolts that is being placed over here. Both the plates are having 20 mm thickness. Okay. So if I draw it in the plane of the paper, three rows of the bolt. The pitch of the bolt is 60 mm, and what you can do over here, the gauge, equal gauge of 60 mm, and either way the end distance or edge distance is 30 mm, 60 mm. Okay, and this is being pulled or providing the tensile in action. Providing in tensile in action. Okay. Now the total width is 180. So you have to find, first of all, this is a lap joint, right? So you have to find it out, the efficiency of this lap joint. What it has been given data is you consider the M20 bolt like M25 grade of concrete. Who is having the issue? Audio is not clear. Here I'm just. Is that okay, Shreyans? Okay. So the given data is M20 bolt of, sorry, what is the grade of the bolt? Grade of the bolt is 4.6, and you can consider the Fe 410, sorry, 410. That means Young's modulus or something would be coming E 250. That is the typical notation. Plates are being also used over here. Plates are used. Okay. So what we require? We require the efficiency of the lap joint. Now let us first consider what do we mean by the efficiency. Have you ever written down this particular problem? Because I'll change the slide now. So what is the efficiency of the joint? Efficiency of the joint means first you have to find it out the tensile capacity. How do we find it out the tensile capacity of the joint? You can find it out the design strength of the bolt at part joint and design strength of the plate, which would be giving you the tensile capacity of the joint, not bolt or plate. Okay. So from there, how to find it out the design strength of the bolt at the joint? You can find it out the design strength of the bolt at the joint by evaluating the shear capacity or the bearing capacity. Minimum of these two would be considered as the design strength of the bolt at that particular joint. So from there you can calculate, and also you can calculate the design strength of the plate. Design strength of the plate. Okay. So from there you can get the efficiency. How do we find it out the efficiency? Efficiency we can find it out by making the strength of the joint, strength of joint divided by strength of solid plate. What is the strength of the solid plate? Strength of the solid plate means without any hole, and it would be at the yielding gross section at the yielding. Gross section means without any hole, and it would be provided at the yielding itself. Okay, so ultimately what do we require to find it out? The shear capacity, bearing capacity, or the shear strength, bearing strength of the bolt, design strength of the plate, and the design and the strength of the plate, solid plate without any hole up to the yielding. Okay, so let us try to solve. So what are the things are given? Grade was 4.6. It is M20 grade of the bolt. So the diameter of the bolt would be 20 mm. Diameter of the bolt, and the diameter of the hole, DO or DH, how much it would be? 22 mm, because 2 mm clearance is there from the, you can say it is from some of the table. I cannot remember now. I think table 19 or some table. Okay, what is the ultimate strength of the bolt? FUB, ultimate strength of the bolt is 400 MPa, because it is a 4 4.6 grade of bolt, and ultimate strength of the plate also you can find it out. Sorry. So ultimate strength of the plate Fu would be equal to 410 MPa. Sorry. 410 MPa. What is the partial safety factor for the bolt? Gamma MB would be considered as 1.25. And what is the partial safety factor of the plate would be? That would also be considered over here 1.25. Right. Now, how to find it out the strength of the plate? What is the thickness of the plate first of all? Thickness of the plate, or rather I would say the thickness of the thinner plate. If we have two different thickness, T is equal to 20 mm. How much was the width of the plate? Width of plate is equal to B, which was how much it was? 180 mm. There is no staggering, only the regular bolting or chain bolting was there. Regular or chain bolting was there. So if it is a regular or chain bolting, can we not find it out that the net effective area AN? Impossible to handle this. What is the AN would be? So before the, how many total number of bolts are there? 3. Means total number of bolts are 6. If you look into that, total number of bolts are 6. Okay. Total number of bolts are 6 on the plate. But we have to find it out one of the particular section as a failure plane or critical plane. Failure plane or critical plane. So how many bolts are there on failure plane or critical plane? It is 3. It is 3. So number of bolts in the failure plane, it is 3. Or in the weakest section. What would be the AN? AN would be equal to B. Capital B you can consider, or I think I have mentioned the small b. B minus N times DH times thickness of the thinner plate. So how much it was coming? 180 minus 3 times 22 times 20. So how much it is? You may calculate. I have already calculated over here. 2280 millimeter square. Okay. Design strength of the plate. Design strength of plate in the joint is equal to 0.9 times Fu times AN divided by gamma ml. Okay. Design strength of the plate. So Fu means over here 410. So 0.9 times 410 times 2280 divided by 1.25. So how much it would be coming? It would be coming, for me it is coming 673.06 kilonewton. Okay, so design strength of the plate. Okay, next, strength of the bolt, I have to find it out. Strength of bolt. What are the strength of the bolt? Two strength. One is called the shear strength or shear capacity, and another one is called the tensile capacity. Could you please explain one, why n is 3 not 6? Yes, I can make it. Kirat. Let me just go back. Why? Because how many total number of bolts are there? It is 6. Okay. And when we do consider the strength of the plate, when we do consider the strength of the plates over here, what we try to find it out, that what is the rupture strength at the critical section. Critical, what do you mean by the critical section? Critical section stands for the at which plane or at which particular location, if the failure starts, then at which particular location failure will start or initiate. Rahul, I am coming. Let me just finish the Kirat's query, then I'll come back to you. Okay, so critical section means it is the failure section. So the structure or the joint in this particular case, whether it will fail at here, or it will fail at here, or it will fail at here. Okay, no one is going to tell you that where is going to go fail. So what we presume over here, as these particular two bolts are at the near to the vicinity of the application of the load, and due to the application or employing the Saint-Venant's principle, I think you have gone through the Saint-Venant's principle in solid mechanics. Okay. So what this principle says? That principle says that if a load is being applied, like for example, let me go back. We generally used to say the stress is equal to P upon A. Does it valid for everywhere? For every, at here also P is equal to A, and at here is also P would be equal to A? No. Here, as per the Saint-Venant's principle, near to the loading portion, the stresses are too much irregular in pattern or trend. Okay, and that is why the stress is equal to P upon A is not valid near to the application of the load. It valids at the middle portion, most likely at the middle portion. That is why you will be getting, if you are, let's say for example, if you are doing a concrete compression testing, we do the concrete cube and we do the concrete cylinder, in which in the concrete cube you will be getting much more strength rather than the concrete cylinder. That is why we used to provide a 1.25 factor FCK value. Sometimes it is FU dash in the concrete cylinder, sometimes it is in the cube, it is FC. So due to this particular limitations or this particular incidence, always we have to find it out a critical plane or the failure envelope or failure plane. There We have to find it out how many points or how many bolts are being present at that particular location. Now in this particular case, in this particular problem statement, I can assume this could be my failure plane, or I could assume this could be my failure plane. Doesn't matter, because it is a symmetric in nature. So at this particular failure plane or the failure line, only 3 bolts are there, not 6 bolts. Because the plate will rupture at the failure plane itself. If you are considering the strength of the bolt, then we have to take into account the number of bolt is equal to 6. Okay, because that would be giving you total strength of the bolt. Could failure not start simultaneously from both sides? Yes, from both sides. It can start from both sides. I can assume it can start from here, it can start from here itself. In either way we have to do. See, the point is we have to have as it is a symmetric in cross section and symmetric in geometry and the loading, we have to consider the strength of the plate itself, tensile strength of the plate. So the tensile strength, if we take the symmetry, then tensile strength of the, if we take the symmetry from here to here, then yes, it can start from here also, it can start from here, but one particular failure plane I have to consider. It may happen that the failure may start from like this way. So this is our assumption from where we are basically going for. Okay. What is Rahul's? What is Rahul? Sir, if we are using FU for calculation of tensile strength of the plate, then we are considering the section to the ultimately failure. Why not the yield of the plate? Fantastic question. We should. This is really a fantastic question. If we are using the FU for the calculation of the tensile strength, then we are considering the section to the ultimately fail. Why not the yielding of the plate? Yes. Rahul, when we have taken, Mukul, I'll come one by one. Rahul, if you can remember that we have considered 3 different factor of safety. One factor of safety is the rupture, one factor of safety is the yielding, another one factor of safety is the ultimate. Okay, and those factors are differing from one to other. 1.25 is for yielding or ultimate factor. That first we have to find it out. Okay, then we can go ahead with that. What Mukul is saying, so the efficiency of the joint, Rahul, I can come back again. You please think of it. Mukul is saying, so the efficiency of the joint is calculated about the failure plane only. Yes, you see, Mukul, if I have, let's say if I have a solid plate, I'm providing a tension. I cannot say where from the failure plane would start. But if I have a hole, forget about the yielding, forget about your bolting and all. If I have a hole, then you have already been started around the whole region. Whatever the stress is being developing around the whole region, it is almost 3 times than considering your average stress. So here itself, your failure plane would start, but the failure envelope will start from your wherever the discontinuity starts or forms. Now what Kirat was saying that it could start from both the way. Yes, it could start from both the way, but we can consider only one failure plane at a time. Is that okay, Mukul? Rahul, how much is the factor of safety for the yielding and for the ultimate? 1.25 is the ultimate, and for the yielding 1.1. Fantastic. So now you can you explain it little bit over here? See, the failure means what we are considering failure means that it is ultimately tearing off. It is not, it is beyond the limit states. What do you mean by the limit states? Limit states means a state beyond which the structure is not intended to do its own performance. So the failure stands for that 1.1 is for the yielding, but still it can take the load before making the failure. Before making the failure. When it reaches to the ultimate, it is ceases to take any further load. That is what we are considering, that due to the application or due to the imposition of this particular load hole, bolt hole, how much would be the your entire design strength or design capacity. Design strength means design capacity. Okay. So can we proceed or should we leave from here? I think you have any class? Please let me know. Then I can. No, Kriyat, you please let me know whether can I proceed or can I leave from here. Should I start from next class or should I stop today? Okay, you have class. Fantastic. So I am leaving. Okay. Thank you very much for all of you.